Hello, welcome to Draw With Me. I'm Danny Gregory. It's Thursday. It's time to do some drawing, and I hope you're ready to do it. Today is, well, here I am in Phoenix, where, what is the temperature right now? It's 97, but I think it's going up to 114, maybe 115, something like that. It's kind of insane for the middle of June, but so it is. Anyway, tedious talking about the weather, but the weather is a major factor here in our lives because you can't kind of go out and do stuff. So I am planning to get the hell out of here. Well, that's not really the reason, but it certainly is a side benefit that I'm going to be traveling to the East Coast, to New York City, for about a week. I'm leaving my wife and my dog here to roast, and I'm going to go to New York, where we are filming for the first time in however long it's been. We're actually getting to film some artists. So I'm going to be working with a few artists to make some workshops that are going to be coming out later this year, and I'm really looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to seeing New York again, seeing what it's like. It's going to be really nice. And so today, one of the things I'm going to talk about is just kind of thinking about traveling again and how that affects our drawing. How, what we need to take with us when we travel, how to think about drawing when you are visiting a new place, travel journaling. And, we'll see. So I'm going to be doing a little preparatory drawing today. So you're welcome to join me doing that. You can draw with me, draw what I'm going to be drawing, or you could be preparing for a trip you might be taking, or you might not be taking, and you'd love to be taking, and you're staycationing, or you're just stuck in the house, or you're stuck in your town, wherever it is, or maybe you want to travel to where you live. That's another option, is to be a tourist in your own town. I remember doing that a long time ago when my son was little, and we pretended that we were tourists in New York City when we lived there. And we went to all the tourist sites, and we kept illustrated journals about what that was like, and it was pretty fun. So you can be a traveler in your own town and see it like travelers do. Hi to everybody who's here. First of all, how great was the nature journaling that we did last week, and all the examples that we showed at the beginning? That was pretty exciting. I love nature journaling. We're going to be doing more of it in the near future. And I just wanted to talk about, well, different kinds of journaling. I don't know if you've seen, but I did. I've been doing this series of videos on YouTube, where you might be watching this on YouTube, in which case maybe later on you want to go and check out these new videos that I've been making, essays really about sketchbook keeping. If you missed them, it's probably because you're not subscribed to our channel, which is something you should do. Just subscribe, just click, and then you'll be notified when I put up a new essay. I'm going to put up another one later today. In fact, I put one up yesterday. I'm not at a frenzy pace or anything. I'm liking the way that I'm making these essays. Other people seem to be doing that, liking it too, so I'm putting them out there. So anyway, thank you all. Yes, Rose seems to like them too. Why is that not visible? That's weird. Let me just fix that. And yes, sorry. So yes. There we go. Yes, so who else? Yes, as it says here, tap in the lower right-hand corner of the video screen. You'll just see this little sketchbook school icon. Click on it, and you'll be subscribed. And yes, so good. So thank you all for liking them, and please keep watching them and subscribing. As Chris says, all the cool kids are subscribed. And who's cooler than Chris Seidel? Hard to say. Okay, so what else do I want to talk to you about before we dig into this? So I want you to get your stuff together, get your pens, your paper, your stuff. We'll be starting in a moment. But I did want to tell you about a new workshop. We just did this workshop last weekend, or I did my first workshop. It was really fun. I think people really liked it. It was called Dip into Dip Pens. If you missed it, oh well. But if you enjoyed it, I hope you're continuing to work with your dip pens. But I also want to tell you about the next workshop we're doing, which is really special because it's a deep dive. Here's a little description of it.
Hey, David Pyle here. We're going to head out into the great outdoors and paint. I'm going to take you on a walk and show you different options for the kinds of image or landscape that you might want to work from. And then we're going to work together to build a painting. We're going to talk about composition. We're going to talk about my tools and the toolkit that I've developed over the last 40 years and why I think it's worked well for me. But most importantly, we're going to talk about the adventurous frame of mind that it takes to get out there and enjoy the process and enjoy making art in the great outdoors. Come join us. We're going to have a blast.
We are going to have a blast, July 17th and 18th. So this is a special workshop because it's 2 full days of workshopping. You know, for those of you who said, I wish it would never end, this one is going to take you deeper. So it's going to be 2 2-hour sessions on Saturday and on Sunday. And so we'll be able to take time really learning, really getting deep. And as you can see, it's on location in Colorado. It's in this beautiful horse farm, and David, who is an incredible teacher, you may have taken watercolor magic with him, you may have experienced his incredible depth of knowledge about drawing, watercoloring, brushes, the whole world of art supplies. He is our guide in various Q and Art Lives we do. So David's going to be leading this, and I think it's going to be fantastic. So if you want to get into watercolor and you want to learn about plein air, which is a whole thing, plein air meaning painting outside, it's going to be really fun, and it's going to get you ready for getting out there, ripping off your mask, throwing it over your shoulder, rushing into the field, carrying your box of paints, and making beautiful art. So that will be really fun. Okay, so that is what I wanted to talk about. That's my announcement for today, plein air watercolor. So let's talk about what I'm going to do for this trip. So traditionally when I go on a trip, over time I've learned what to take with me, because there are certain things you want to have when you travel, but you also don't want to take much stuff. I'm a light traveler. I like to take one bag. I like to have it as a carry-on. I'm going to New York for 8 days. I'm staying with my friend Tommy Kane and his wife Yoon Lee. And so I'm not going to be showing up with steamer trunks, filling up their house with stuff. I got to be trim. It's also summer, so you don't need like big sweaters and overcoats, so I can, just take the bare minimum and leave some room for art supplies. I remember we went on a trip a couple years ago. JJ and I drove from Seattle to Los Angeles over the course of however long it was, a week or two. And I was really into watercoloring at that point, and we were doing the watercolor rules class, and I was packing in every conceivable watercolor implement and variation there was. I had just huge bags. I think I had like a giant, massive bag because I knew we'd be in a car. So my logic to her was, look, we don't need to take many clothes. We're just I'm going to have a giant duffel bag full of art supplies, and that'll be my stuff. Little did I realize that the weather was going to be very unpredictable in Northern California, and it was freezing, so we ended up having to stop at thrift stores to actually buy me clothes because I really kind of didn't have anything. I just had watercolors, and they don't keep you that warm in the cold California summer. So anyway, so I'm trying to slim it down and trying to just take less stuff. One of the things I'm taking is, so this is a Hanamula travel journal. As you know, Hanamula is our sponsor, and they make this travel journal. It says here, in the style of the legendary sketchbooks used by famous artists and adventurers, this journal is an indispensable companion for retaining notes, thoughts, stories, impressions, sketches, and anything unusual that comes your way. It's nice paper. It's 140 grams. But here's the thing that struck me. This is a thick sketch travel journal, and I'm only traveling for a week. There's no way that I need all this. So they also make these. These are little sketch notes. And I thought I was going to use this travel journal today, but they make a travel journal that is like this size. I don't have it. I don't have this right now. I have this sketch and note. It's very similar to the travel journal. It's a slightly lighter paper. But what I like about it is it's this thin. So it's kind of perfect for this long of a trip, because, it's all in the interest of traveling light. But also I like sometimes I'll have a quote unquote travel journal that I'll use to cover multiple trips all in one. But it's kind of nice to have one journal for one trip and just say, like, this was my New York trip in the summer of 2021. And I just have it all in this one. So that's why I'm probably going to end up taking this little one. It comes in lots of different colored covers, but I think the actually official travel journal is sort of this color, and it has a little pocket in the back, but I don't have one of those yet. Maybe Joe will send me one. But this sketch and note, it comes in like a package of 2, and it's small. Jack actually stole the other one when he came to visit me. But so one of the first things I'm doing is, it also has this little sticker that you can paste on the front. But let's see, I might make my own sticker. So first of all, I'm taking these are the pens. Let me switch to another point of view here. This is what I'm planning to take. So it's not a huge amount. It's not a duffel bag. In fact, it's all going to go in here in my little slim, somewhat dirty zipper bag. So what I'm taking is, let's just see. So I'm taking these Winsor Newton fine liners because I really like drawing with them these days, and I'm taking a few different ones. So I have 2 different sizes, a 3 and an 8, and I also am taking a blue one, a brown one, and a gray one. Okay, and then I'm going to take my Lamy Safari fountain pen. This is not waterproof ink. All these are permanent. I'm going to take my Pentel brush pen, and then I'm going to take some of these Winsor Newton watercolor markers. I might take this, which is my field kit watercolor kit, but I don't know if I'll use it. This is not watercolor paper, but the nice thing about these markers is, see, I tested here, and you can see they don't show through like a regular marker would. But what's also nice about them for traveling, I find, is that they dry almost instantly. So, you don't have to worry about, watercolor stuff. You've got the full, you've got all your colors, but you don't have to wait for stuff to dry, which is not always convenient when you're traveling, when you've got to move on. All right, let's go. So, all right. So that is my plan. That's it. So hopefully this whole thing goes in here. Does it? Does it all go in here? Yes. It all goes in here. Zip. Done. And maybe this. So that's it. So now I can afford to take... What am I going to take with me? I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to take. I know I'm taking this. We'll see what else I take. All right. So there's a lot of gossiping going on about my trip, I'm seeing. Yes, I am shooting an all-star, and I am shooting a new person. It's a shooting star and an all-star that I'm shooting. August Wren, yes. Doing a new workshop with August Wren. But, yes, they'll be nice. Urban sketching workshop, yes. There's all kinds of stuff, but, it would ruin it for you if I told you about it, and who knows? I could go there, it could be a complete disaster, and I say, you know what, actually I wasn't filming workshops there at all. I was just chilling with Tommy Kane. Tommy Kane is not doing a workshop. Nope. If you want Tommy Kane, go to Instagram and follow him there. Okay, so we're ready. We're ready to start actually drawing. And moving on to here. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm doing like little drawings of just stuff I want to see when I'm there. And I'll tell you a bit about what it is I want to see and why I want to see it. So let's unzip my bag, that is. And yeah, so I'm just going to be drawing quickly. So you're welcome to draw with me if you want, or if you want to draw your own stuff, or if you want to draw your own fantasy vacation. But this is what I'm going to be doing. I want to just draw little kind of reminders almost to myself of, this is what I'm going to be, what I want to see. And this is the Metropolitan Museum. I haven't been to a museum. Well, I went to one very briefly here in Phoenix, but generally I haven't been to any in a really long time. And I want to go and see the Alice Neal show, which is at the Met. So this is just my kind of reminder to myself that I'm going to the Met for sure. For sure. So yeah, if you don't know Alice Neal, you should. She's amazing, and she's always been one of my faves. So I've certainly seen some of her paintings in isolation, but the idea of seeing a whole bunch of them all together seems really exciting, and definitely a must. So yeah, so I'm trying to draw quickly. I'm not trying to do a big elaborate thing. I'm just trying to say, hey, I'm going to the Met for sure. And what else do I want to do? I'm in New York basically for 7 or 8 days. I have to visit family. I have to do these 2 shoots. So I don't have an enormous amount of time, but I definitely want to make time for some art. So, but it's nice to, before you go on a trip, it's nice to sort of just get a kind of a sense of some of the things that you might encounter. Maybe do a little practice drawing, like what is this going to be like if I actually go to, let's say, going to Paris, and I'm going to check out how to draw the Eiffel Tower, let's say. You might want to do this sort of a thing beforehand and just say to yourself, I need to kind of get a grip on it, because that way when I get there I can be efficient. And also, you kind of get to start enjoying the trip before you've even gone, because, it's, sort of living vicariously through Google search. So, now that I think about it, I don't know that I've ever drawn the Met before. I've drawn the New York Public Library, which I think has the same architect. Is it Stanford White? It might be. But it's nice to draw something nice and complicated. I went out to try and do some urban sketching here in Phoenix a couple weekends ago. It was kind of hard, honestly. I'm used to New York architecture, which is, full of fanciness and full of ornamentation, and a lot of the Phoenix architecture was really low and flat, because that's how things are here. There aren't a lot of multi-story buildings here in Phoenix because it's hard to air condition them. So, yeah. So I'm just going to write a reminder to myself. There we go. That's something. So that's a thing I plan to do. And there it is. It's logged. And then I can, I'm not sure that I'm going to actually draw the Met when I'm there. I don't think I want to spend time sitting outside drawing when I could be inside the museum. But who knows? Now I have it. Now I've drawn it. I don't have to worry about that anymore. And there you go. All right. Janice is asking, will David Pyle be approaching this workshop from a sketchbook point of view with minimal supplies, or is thinking big work, big plein air? He's thinking big work, big plein air. It's a 2-day workshop on one painting. It's not a sketchbook thing. It's going to be, you're going to paint a gorgeous, full up watercolor. So yes, it's going to be nice. It's going to be, you're going to learn an enormous amount. All right. What else do I want to draw? Yes, that's right, a bodega. So do you know what a bodega is? Bodega is it's kind of a New York thing. Certainly I haven't seen the equivalent here in Phoenix, which is, it's a grocery store. But, you know, in New York, I don't know if it's because we don't have cars. We don't do all of our shopping in big supermarkets. We have these little tiny grocery stores. And, you know, they have whatever you need in there. Anything from, you know, stuff to get rid of a hangover, fried egg sandwich, carton of milk. You know, they're not where you do the big shop necessarily, but again, in New York, we tend to, you know, we have small apartments, and I'm saying we as if I still live there. I don't live there anymore, but from what I remember from the before times, you know, it was just you just drop in and pick up what you need for that day. Here in Phoenix, people go to like the 7-Eleven if they want that, which to me is not the same. But the bodega that was near our house in Greenwich Village, when we went back in September on a brief visit to New York, it had gone out of business. It had been there for, I don't know, I lived there for 25 years. It had always been there, but now it's gone, which was sad. I hope that the bodegas survive. But a bodega is definitely something I would like to visit, just for the sake of the memory of it all. What else? The subway, of course. The subway. I never went on the subway last time we were in New York. It seemed a little scary, honestly. It seemed being in COVID on the subway. Eesh, I don't know. But we hear from friends in New York that it still kind of feels a little scary there. That the subway is still. There's a little bit of hostility that seems to be kind of popping up in New York right now. We've heard some stories about stuff. But it sounds like New York when I was a kid. You know, in the 70s, 80s. New York was a bit more of a Wild West sort of place. Sounds like it's a bit more like that these days. We'll see. I don't know if you can tell, but I have a certain degree of apprehension about this whole thing. Feeling a little apprehensive about traveling. Yeah, I'm not sure why. I think it's partly because I've been living a certain way for so long that I've grown used to it, and I've become kind of anxious about, change. But that's silly. Change happens. I should be used to it by now. But there you go. What else? All right, well, you guys seem to be talking about all kinds of stuff, so I will not worry about what you're saying, and I will continue with my drawings. Just, again, little fast sketches. Yes, that's a must. A slice of New York pizza. They have pizza out here, don't get me wrong. They have pizza here in Phoenix, or what they call pizza. And I'm sure it's very good. It is. I've eaten it. But I miss being able to just hop in and grab a slice. And that is something you don't find in most places. I remember that from Los Angeles too. Sure, you can go and buy a pizza, but that's not the same as getting a slice to go, just grabbing it, walking down the street, eating a slice. Again, it's a pedestrian culture. It's really different from when you live in cars, because nobody's going to go and get a slice of pizza and then drive a car eating pizza. Right? Unlikely. But when you're perambulating, you can also shove a slice in your pie hole while you're on the road. So, yes, I need some za. Yes, that's definitely a thing that will be on my list. And maybe a hot dog cart. I can't say, what do they call these? Dirty dogs? Or these are like hot dogs kind of floating in water. I'm here now used to grilling hot dogs on my barbecue in the backyard. It's a whole other level of culinary delight. But, sometimes you go and have a hot dog or one of those pretzel things. I can't say this is the height of dining, but, it's part of New York that I miss, that I haven't seen in so long, and that there is no, they have food trucks here now, kind of emerging here in Phoenix, but it's funny when you go and live in a new place, how it's these little things that are different. And when you're a traveler, you see all these things and you go, that's just a variation on how I live. That's like, we don't have the equivalent of that. You go to Paris, you won't find a soubrette stand, But then, or for instance, the way that you eat breakfast when you're in Rome, standing at a bar, it's called a bar, but it's not really a bar, having a latte, because you only have a cappuccino or a latte for breakfast. You don't order them in the middle of the day, I discovered. Then you look like a real Philistine if you do that. But, or an American. But certainly, there are all these little habits that you pick up when you're abroad. You go, that's really nice. I wish we had the equivalent of that. Going to Starbucks, not the same. Although I imagine it was inspired by that, right? It's probably inspired by Italian coffee doodads. Yeah. Again, I'm just finding in Phoenix, there's some signage that's sort of interesting. I just haven't gotten in the groove yet of how you draw this place and how you make it seem Phoenician and not generic. But I'll figure it out eventually. right, so there's a little hot dog cart. And let's just do one more. I got room for one more little thing in here. Okay, this is part of New York that I've probably drawn more than just about any other piece of architecture in New York. Washington Square Arch. Some of you have been with me and drawn this together. We used to have some sketchbook school events in Washington Square Park. We've shot class videos here. It was really my backyard. It's, in fact, we scattered my dog's ashes, Tim and Joe. Their ashes are in Washington Square Park. So yeah, so this means quite a lot to me. And I hope to go back to my neighborhood just to spend a little bit of time there, just to see how things are going, see the building that we lived in for 25 years, see how it's going. What's going on in New York? This is from the Fifth Avenue side. I would often draw it from the other side, although this is a really nice side. It has the two statues of George W. here, the original George W. Washington, that is. And you're looking into the park. Slightly different point of view. But yeah, it's another thing about doing this kind of little preparatory stuff is it just kind of gets you thinking about how do I capture the essentials. Because when you're doing travel journaling, you're not necessarily trying to make amazing drawings. That's less the point. The point is more, I'm trying to just capture my experience in a drawing and then like making some notes, so you don't have to worry so much about, is it perfect? Did I capture everything? No, it's just like, there's the arch, so there's my kind of wish list, let's say, my wish list of stuff I want to do when I'm in New York. And, that should be, I hope I do more drawings than this. I will. I'll definitely be doing more drawings. I'm also going to be hanging out with my friend who is, draws like a fiend. So I'm sure I'll be drawing more. But it's nice to just get ready. Get ready. It's like doing a dry run, a run through beforehand. And you can also say to yourself, what are the essential things I want to capture in terms of landmarks? Like if I was going to New York as a tourist, I would want to like go to Times Square. How do you draw Times Square? It's not a bad idea to sort of prepare yourself for that, because you never know what it's going to be like drawing Times Square. It can be overwhelming, So if you look at a few photographs of it beforehand, you can say, okay, how have photographers captured this? And might this be how I want to do it? Or you can say, you know what? I'm just going to immerse myself in Times Square. I'm just going to sit down and I'm going to deal with it, whatever comes up. So they're just sort of different approaches that you might have to capturing it visually, and doing a bit of a dry run isn't a bad idea. So, all right. I'm just looking at your comments and seeing if there's anything that I can explain. Limelight is opening again? Seriously? So there was a nightclub that was in a church on 6th Avenue called Limelight. That was one of the places I hung out when I was a kid. But then it became like a gym, and then it became like a clothing place. So I imagine that it's just going to become that again. Is it really, Lisa, going to become a nightclub again? Maybe it's time to go clubbing. All right, that could affect my packing. I might have to pack some of my wild outfits. Yeah. Jean-Christophe. Is a Lego building, yes. Okay. Yeah, well, I'm sure you practice with the Arc de Triomphe. It's very similar, and it's right by your house, so I'm sure that it's going to be. Rumor has it, okay. So, Corinne says, I like drawing the things that are not usually subject for postcards. Of course. However, it depends what you're doing, because travel journaling isn't about drawing necessarily. It's not about what do I want to draw. although that could be part of it. It's also about how do I capture my experience. And so the things that are in postcards, those are things that you may visit if it's the first time that you go there. You might say, you know what, I'm going to Paris, I got to go and see the Eiffel Tower. When you get to the Eiffel Tower, though, you might choose to draw it very differently from a postcard. I remember going and drawing it and focusing on the pigeons in the park next to the Eiffel Tower and drawing the Eiffel Tower as a little tiny thing in the distance. So there's all different kinds of ways of going. Another thing you will experience when you're traveling is the small things, like pizza or a hot dog cart, garbage cans. New York has lots of garbage cans. Phoenix has none. There's you can't throw anything away here. But in New York, they're all over the place. And the wire garbage cans in parks, I used to draw those quite a lot. Other cities have really elaborate garbage cans. You might want to focus on those. I remember drawing newsstands in Rome. The newsstands were beautiful there. So you notice the things that are different that you don't see at home and how they're different. So that's part of the travel experience too, right? Is to say, what did I feel? What did I experience? What did I eat? What do people look like? How do people move? All those kinds of things, they all are different when you're traveling. So, that's a good way. Pete Scully draws fire hydrants. I've drawn gazillions of fire hydrants. There's so many variations in New York, but then also when you go to other places, you say, wow, their fire hydrants are completely different. So yeah. How do you deal with sketchbooking when you're with people that don't draw? Well, there's a lot of different strategies. It depends what you mean by people that don't draw. Generally, as you see, I try to draw quickly. I knocked out half a dozen drawings in 10 minutes, 15 minutes. So I try to draw quickly. I say to people, hey, I'm going to sit here and draw. Can we meet up in that cafe in 15 minutes? And they go off and they look in shop windows or, those kinds of things. Just say, I'm going to do this. You go do that. We'll come back together again. It's not, my perspective on it is it's not a big elaborate thing. Now, I might take these little drawings that I did, if I did a quick drawing like this, when I go back to the hotel and I'm jet lagged and I can't sleep 3 o'clock in the morning, I might pull out my watercolors and I might add some stuff. I might take a couple of pictures with my phone to remind me of what are the colors of that Bodega stand? Oh yeah, they're yellow and red, and here's, so I'm not drawing from the photograph, but I'm just using it as reference. So there's lots of different strategies, but partly it's also when you're traveling with your friends and you say this is what I do. I'm on vacation. I enjoy doing this. So, I'm not gonna impose on you, but this is part of my plan is to draw when I'm in Paris. So if you want to shop while you're in Paris, do that. So that's part of what it is. It's just about coming up with some kind of a strategy. You might even talk about it before you go. So yeah. Yeah, Janice says texting your location makes that easy. It's true. That I'm not used to actually, but saying all right, I'm done drawing. Where are you? I'll come and meet you. It's fun. So, all right. Have I ever been to the New York Zoo? Yes, well, the New York Zoo is there's several. There's the Central Park Zoo, which I used to work in. So yes, I've been there. And of course, the Bronx Zoo, which is a gigantic zoo, which I probably won't go to because I rarely have gone to the Bronx. But it's beautiful. Big, beautiful zoo. So yes, all right, so cool. So let me just go through a last couple things I want to do. So I have a new thing that I want to do in Draw With Me, which is I want to share a sketchbook tour with you hopefully each time we meet. I wanted to show you a bit of inspiration. It could be one of my sketchbooks, which is going to be today. It could be one of my friends' sketchbooks. It could be a famous person's sketchbook. But each time I want to leave you with just a brief kind of burst of inspiration, a little break. And the folks at Winsor Newton are sponsoring this because they love sketchbooks and of all the things that we use to make them. So let me just take you through today's tour, and hopefully this will be a little burst of inspiration for you. There you go. That's one down. Bunch to go. So, just a few final reminders. So one of which is, if you drew your travel journal, fake or preparatory or whatever it is you drew, and you want to share it, please do. Tag it with SBS Draw With Me, hashtag SBS Draw With Me. Put it on Facebook, Instagram, or in the schoolyard, and we will add it to the opening salvo for next time we meet. If you've enjoyed any of my essays, visual essays, I write one every week, the old-fashioned way with keys and a screen and the like. Anyway, so every week I send out an essay like that. It's free. You can sign up for it at dannysessays.com. And yeah, there you go. I'll send it to you tomorrow, every Friday. Bye. Okay, plein air watercolor. I just wanted to remind you that you can sign up for at sketchbookschool.com/workshops. If you're in Spark, of course, you will be joining us for free. This workshop is, I think, will really transform how you work, and I certainly insist that everybody who's in Spark must go to this. It will make a big difference to your life. What else? Oh yes, no Draw With Me next week. I'll be in New York. I'm actually shooting on Thursday. Unfortunately, then I will not be able to be here with you. I thought about trying to do it there. Honestly, it would be a mad dash. We'll just skip a week. You can draw without me, and that will be fun. What else? I also wanted to say thank you to our sponsors, Hanamula and Winsor Newton. I was also thinking about the fact that both Hanamula and Winsor Newton have these animals as their mascots. Hanamula has the rooster. Hana meaning rooster, Mühle meaning mill. So they have a rooster. And then Winsor Newton has the flying lion. How badass is that? A flying lion. So I thought, you know what? Maybe we need to have our own animal mascot for Sketchbook School. Why don't we have a cool little animal logo? So we started working on it. Here's a rough idea of what I'm thinking. What do you think? It's not a rooster, and it's not a flying lion. It's Twiglet. So yeah, so I think that's something that would certainly look good on a T-shirt, or on a coffee mug, or on a bag of treats. So yes, so this is the future of Sketchbook School, inspired by Hanamula and Winsor Newton. All right, guys, thank you very much for joining with me today, and I will see you in 2 weeks. If you're in Spark, of course, I'll see you a little bit later, in 41 minutes, and we'll hang out. I've got some cool stuff to show you, and otherwise, thanks for joining me. I look forward to seeing your travel journals, and have a great weekend and week to come. Bye-bye.